Hello, thank you for stopping by. I'm so glad you're here. In this video, I'm going to be making Julia Child's chicken dinner for 4 in half an hour. I am having one of those days where I feel like doing approximately 0 things, but I need to cook dinner anyways, and I want to try to force myself to be productive. So I'm filming a video, and I went to the French chef cookbook and looked for the easiest recipe I could possibly find. And chicken dinner for 4 in 30 minutes sounded like it was going to be my best bet. Here is the menu she's suggesting for this simple 30-minute meal. Cold hors d'oeuvres, herbal chicken, sautéed potatoes and zucchini, fresh pears, brie or camembert cheese with crackers, and paired with a red Bordeaux or rosé wine. Doesn't sound like the modern definition of a 30-minute meal, but I'm going to give it a chance. I don't actually expect myself to be able to get this done in 30 minutes, so I'm going to try to give myself an hour and see how close I can get to that. Let's see what Julia has to say about this.
Here is our cold hors d'oeuvre, une petite quelque chose pour commencer. Our main course is going to be an herbal chicken, poulet à la Sicilienne. And I'd better get cracking because I have a whole dinner in half an hour.
All right, dinner in half an hour. She's starting by filling a kettle with 6 quarts of water. This is the biggest pot I have. Don't bring it out very often. I just started the pot filling, and I'm starting a timer on my phone just to see how long all of this takes for fun. With the pot filling, she started peeling the potatoes, so I'm going to do that. And while I am peeling these 3 large russet potatoes, I'm going to keep watching Julia and see what else she has to say.
We're going to start out with the cold hors d'oeuvre.
Hors d'oeuvre. Hors d'oeuvre. Hors d'oeuvre. Wow, my French is terrible.
Poulet à la Sicilienne is a chicken cooked in butter and garnished with sautéed potatoes and zucchini.
All right, pot filled, potatoes peeled, moving the pot to the stove to get it started. Oh, Lord, that's a lot. I feel like that's going to take forever to boil.
Now these potatoes are peeled and I'm putting in water, and be sure that you do that whenever you peel potatoes, and then they won't darken. So I'm using boiling potatoes. I'm not using baking potatoes.
Oops, maybe I should have gotten yellow potatoes? Is that what she means by boiling potatoes instead of baking? I got baking potatoes. It'll have to do.
And now I'm going to get the chicken ready.
Chicken, okay.
And we're using a broiler fryer chicken.
I have 3 pounds of split chicken breasts with ribs. This expires today, so it was on sale 50% off, so I got it to save some money. Looks like she's got a big skillet. She's melting some butter in there. What do we do next?
And we're going to serve 4 people in one cut-up frying chicken.
She's taking the chicken parts and just putting them into melted butter and swishing it around. I'm keeping these chicken pieces whole as they are. I don't feel like doing any butchering time-wise, and I'll just serve a big old slab of it for dinner.
And then I'm going to put
serves 2 people, I
on.
guess.
You can use tarragon. I'm using this mixture called Italian seasoning.
All right, she's seasoning it with the Italian seasoning. I don't have any of that, so I'm just using rosemary, sage, oregano, thyme, salt, and pepper. I'm already at 12:08 now. There's no way I'm making this 30-minute mark.
And after it's cooked for about 10 minutes on one side, I will cook it for about 10 minutes on the other, and it will be done.
Okay, chicken's cooking, water's almost boiled. Let's move on, Julia. We're on a time crunch here. Let's move.
And what's nice about this very simple way of doing chicken is that it just cooks in its own juice. You put your cover on and then let it cook over very low heat.
Okay, covered the chicken and moved it to the back burner so that it's cooking covered over very low heat. The water is almost boiling from the stock pot, so let's see what Julia has to say next. We're on a time crunch here. We got to keep it moving.
And if you're using an electric frying pan, which is a very good, a very nice way to cook chicken, you would cook it at about 250, 260, and just let it just make little simple cooking noises all by itself.
Simple cooking noises all by itself.
And now we're going to do some zucchini.
Zucchini. Zucchini. Okay, zucchini time. What does the book say? 46 medium zucchini. I went on the smaller side. I got 4 zucchinis.
You have to wash them off.
All the vegetables have already been scrubbed and washed. I just salted that pot of water, chopping the ends of the zucchini off.
Then I'm going to cook them in a salad basket.
she's using a salad basket for this. So I'm going to get that. I don't know that I've ever called this a salad basket. I don't have one with a nice handle like hers, apparently. But I'm still going to use the one I have, and hopefully I can like grab it out with tongs. The zucchini are boiling. Let's move on. What do you have to say next, Julia?
And we're going to have tomatoes for our first course. You can peel the tomatoes in the boiling water.
Okay, drop the tomatoes in and count to 10. The 10-minute timer just went off on the chicken for the first side, so I'm going to flip it and cook it for 10 minutes on the next side. All right. Chicken flipped. Let's boil these tomatoes.
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000.
Tomatoes came off the boil. Now what?
And you could also do your hard-boiled eggs in the kettle at the same time.
I'm putting 4 large eggs into the boiling water for 12 minutes.
And now we're going to also start our potatoes. I want them to cook quickly so that cutting them up into small dice is the quickest way of doing them.
Okay, we are cutting the potatoes now in 1/4-inch dice. So she has
Cut
you
it in half and then put
cut the potato in half long ways.
Flat on your cutting board, and then just cut slices. I want these to be about 1/4 of an inch thick. Then cut the slices across like that.
All right, I still have all these potatoes to cut, but the zucchini has been in here for at least 8 minutes, so I got to get that out per the book. And I'm sitting at the 27-minute mark right now. I'm not going to hit the 30-minute mark for this, but I think I can get it in an hour. Okay. Second timer went off on the chicken. I'm going to check its doneness. So this is the goal temp. This is the actual temp. This one is showing 90 degrees, 89. It went down even further. I'm going to flip these and cook them a little bit longer. Maybe I used too big of chicken pieces. Maybe I had the fire down too low for cooking them. Either way, they're not cooking at the same speed with which the recipe says they should, which is actually kind of fine because I'm not moving at the same speed she is. I'm off a little bit. So I just flipped them again and put them back in to cook a little bit longer. I'm still chopping potatoes and the eggs are done. The recipe says crack the shells and put them into cold water. Just put some ice in here with these eggs. Set this aside. I really need to get these stinking potatoes diced.
If you have 3 or 4 courses, the thing to do is to serve a small amount of each course. Then you can get the variety. If you had one of those machines that cut fried potatoes, you could put them in and get them cut into strips.
Hallelujah, they're diced. What do we got next, Julia?
And we're going to saute them. I'm going to use one of these no-stick pans.
Okay, I've got my non-stick pan. This is not the Teflon pan that she would have been using. This is whatever the modern non-stick is.
You use butter and a little bit of oil.
We've got a tablespoon of butter and half a tablespoon of oil. All right, I've got that melting. Where do we go from here?
You want to dry them off. And I think the easiest way is just to dry them off in a clean towel.
Okay, dry them off in a clean towel.
One of the great problems in sauteing vegetables is that they stick to the pan, and if you dry them off thoroughly, they won't.
Butter's hot, the potatoes are dried, into the butter it goes.
And I've got the heat on high.
Okay, we're cutting green onions now.
I think these scallions are a perfectly good substitute for the shallot.
Okay, cutting off the root, cutting it lengthwise into strips, and then into dice. Okay, into the pan with the chicken. I'm going to turn it again.
When this goes in, I will also turn the chicken. Got to shake these potatoes up now.
Salt and pepper. All right, where do we go from here? We've got to be getting close. Most of the things are in progress. Where am I at on the timer? 46. So if I'm going to make that 1 hour mark, I'm really cutting it close.
And we want to have some parsley for decoration.
I didn't use parsley. I can live without it. I do have some spring mix that I'm going to use instead of watercress, and that can be decorative as well.
If you do a little bit of planning, and when you get used to doing quite a lot of cooking, you can do a great deal.
Ma'am, I don't have a plan. I'm just trying to follow you. The show's only at 15 minutes. I'm at going on 50 minutes. So what?
You notice that our zucchini are boiling nice and hard. I'm also going to cover them. In Europe, you can find some of these covers.
This is a cover, I think, to a Dutch oven that I found at the thrift store, but it is like heavy duty, like cast iron with the ceramic coating.
And here's our zucchini. I'm going to think that that is done enough.
My zucchini are long since out because I'm going much slower.
And then, in order to heat my serving dish, I'm just going to keep that kettle of water on the stove, and the serving dish can be heated on that later on.
Oh Lord, I need to find a serving dish. A serving dish. I'm just going to use this stoneware casserole dish for serving, so I'm going to put it on top of the pot of water that was boiling, and it should heat up. Okay, next.
We're going to be sautéing our zucchini.
Great, I need another pan. Zucchini skillet is heating.
And then you cut the zucchini like this. Cut it into pieces like that. Heat up my pan here for the sautéing of the zucchini.
All right, time to saute the zucchini in olive oil. Olive oil.
To be sautéed, I'm going to sauté it in olive oil.
This pan looks kind of too small for the zucchini, but we're going to make it work because I'm out of space. I'm going to check on the chicken here. Yeah, it's looking like the chicken is up to temperature. 168, okay. 169, so it's getting close to 170. I just went over 165. It looks like it is there. I started the zucchini sauteing. The chicken is right at 170, so I just turned the heat off, covered it. I'm going to let it sit in its own juices while we figure out what else to do. Still have these tomatoes here.
Potatoes are doing well. They're just on low heat.
Salt and pepper on the zucchini. Check the potatoes. All right, we've got the chicken done. The zucchini is sauteing. That should be really quick. The potatoes are pretty much done. They're really close to where they need to be, nice and soft and some browned. And the serving dish is heating up over top of the previous boiling water. The zucchini is sauteing. The book says you can add some garlic, optional. I'm going to add the garlic. Smash. Garlic press is a wonderful thing.
We're now ready to do our petite quelque chose pour commencer.
I'm at 1 hour and 3 minutes, so I didn't make my hour mark, but I will definitely hit the 1.5 hour mark.
And homemade mayonnaise and hard-boiled eggs and some salami.
Okay, mayonnaise, hard-boiled egg, and salami. I don't have any homemade mayonnaise sitting about, but I have some Dukes, and I have a little bit of salami. And what am I supposed to serve this on? Okay, I'm just going to use a dinner plate for serving.
And for the watercress, it keeps best if you just keep it covered with water.
Didn't have watercress. I'm not crying over it. I'm substituting spring mix.
And then arrange this in your dish.
Okay, I'm just putting a bed of greens down.
Skin should just come off very simply. Remember, that's 10 seconds in boiling water.
Peeling tomatoes. Never done this before. She said makes it sound like it's the easiest thing in the world. Just cut this little nub out.
And even if you have a very ripe tomato, it will usually peel perfectly well.
Okay, well, I've gone my entire life never peeling tomatoes because you can get a smaller knife. It just seemed like the fussiest thing in the world. Okay, tomatoes peeled. The zucchini, I think, is now sufficiently cooked. I turned the heat off. What's next, Julia?
I think I'll put the tomatoes along the side and then the eggs on the other side.
Okay, she's just doing a very basic slice of these tomatoes and putting them on the plate. Tomatoes. 3 tomatoes is a lot.
Of course, you don't have to peel tomatoes. I always think it's slightly more elegant, and when it's so quickly done, they make much nicer eating.
She's almost at 23 minutes, which is 7 minutes left on her episode. I'm at 1 hour and 13 minutes.
And then we have our hard-boiled eggs.
Hate peeling eggs. I hate peeling eggs. All right, eggs peeled. She just slices them.
Cut them this way. I guess I'll arrange them, the 4, right down the middle of the platter.
She's just slicing them in half, and let me rearrange these tomatoes. Maybe I needed a bigger platter, whatever. Not making deviled eggs at this point feels like a real waste of hard-boiled eggs. Not gonna lie. Okay, she's just putting a little dollop of mayonnaise on each egg, which is weird to me, but whatever. Following Julia here.
I love homemade mayonnaise because it's so easy to make and it always tastes so good.
I'm not being quite as generous with the mayonnaise as she is. It still strikes me as quite a lot.
This is a very French hors d'oeuvre, the mayonnaise. Les œufs durs mayonnaise, and then sprinkle them with a little tiny bit of parsley.
I don't have parsley. I am going to do just a tiny bit of dried dill on top for color and a little bit of taste. All right, let's get going, Julia. We got to hit that 130 mark. We're 120 now. We can make the 130 mark, I think, but we got to push it. Come on, Julia.
I have some.
Come on, Julia.
Salami. You could use a little bit of tuna fish, which would be nice too.
Tuna fish. Ugh. Salami on this side. What now? What now? All right, for the dessert, I don't have pears. I don't have cheese. I'm using what I got, and that's a big bag of frozen fruit. And I'm just going to leave this out to warm up a little bit, defrost.
So that now is all done, and we're really now ready to assemble our chicken.
Okay, the platter here that is warmed up over the previously boiling water.
And there's our chicken. You see, it has produced all of its own juices.
The chicken, which has produced all of its own juices.
You don't ever want to overdo chicken, particularly a lovely tender chicken like this, because if it isn't juicy, it's just has lost its charms.
Okay, chicken in the container, potatoes poured over.
And we then have our potatoes poured over the chicken like that.
What next, Julia?
And then our zucchini, I'm also going to season a little bit.
I've already seasoned this to taste. I am not going to add more salt and pepper. So I'm sort of smushed the potatoes into the middle around the chicken, then I can put the zucchini on the edges.
And they simply go on either side of the chicken. Then we still have our parsley, which is somewhere. I don't know where I left it. Well, anyway, it should have, oh, there it is.
Then she just pours the juice left over from the pan all over the whole thing.
And there's this little lovely buttery juice, which the chicken made all by itself.
And garnishes with parsley. I don't have parsley. I'm going to cut up the green part of the green onions. She didn't use the green part of it. She just used the white. So, think of the green part and using that for garnish. Woohoo! Okay, we did it at 128.13. It only took me an hour and a half to make Julia Child's 30-minute meal. Okay, time to put this on the table and serve it. I'm not counting that into the total time. I am normally a clean-as-you-go sort of person. I did not today because I was trying to rush through it. And I'm very upset with the state of this kitchen.
I don't see that anyone can say that French cooking is long and complicated when you can make a perfectly lovely dinner like this in half an hour.
All right, I'm finally here. It is done, sitting down, ready to eat. I did not have the wine that Julia suggested to pair with this. I have some leftover Prosecco from New Year's Eve. That's what I'll be having, along with a glass of iced tea. Starting with the salad, and actually starting with the booze. Okay, let's start with the salad. A couple of tomatoes, a couple of eggs, a couple of pieces of salami, and some greens. All right, I have just a very simple little salad here, and it does feel terribly French, I think. It's a tasty little salad. I don't know what there is to say about it. It's spring mix, tomatoes, salami, eggs, and a little bit of mayonnaise. It's a nice light little salad. So let's set that to the side. I'm going to finish that. I am, as soon as I stop filming. But let's get to the main course here. This chicken is ridiculously large. All right. Buy smaller chicken pieces. I was being cheap. I'm definitely going to have to chop this in half. The big old hunk of chicken breast. I have the zucchini and I have the potatoes. Let's give this a try. Let's try this chicken first. The chicken breast can often be kind of dry in my opinion. It's lovely. It's reasonably moist for chicken breast. Nothing earth-shattering. It wasn't brined or anything. It was just a big old chunk of chicken breast. The herbs and the butteriness on the outside is super delicious. No complaints. No complaints. Let's try the sauteed vegetables. So you get a nice like caramelized toasty flavor from the browned potatoes, but they don't retain any of the crispy crunch just because they've been mixed in with everything and sort of soaked in this buttery chicken broth. But that adds a nice herby, buttery flavor too. So it's really nice. Primary flavors are just a mild herbiness from the dried herbs. It would be nice to put fresh herbs in here. She didn't call for that, and I didn't want to spend the money on it. You get what you would expect from a chicken breast. In addition to the buttery herbiness from the outside, it is a relatively moist for chicken breast. I bet if I had used just chicken thighs, it would have been a lot tastier. That's probably what I would use in the future, maybe thighs and drumsticks. You do you, though. It's all very delicious, just sort of delicate and buttery and lightly herby. I wouldn't call it heavily seasoned, but it is also not bland, which is very French. It is sort of designed to bring out the flavors of the ingredients. I did an excellent job of salting this, if I do say so myself. Enough salt that I can not necessarily tell it's got salt in it, but I can't tell that it doesn't have salt in it, which is how I like it. Which is the way to do it. I'm happy with this. It didn't take me 30 minutes. It took me an hour and a half. The kitchen is a disaster. It's going to take me an hour to clean up. Would I do this again? Probably, now that I know what I'm doing. I think the first time through, with the addition of filming it, made it a lot harder. Would I ever be able to get this done in 30 minutes? I don't think so. But I think I tried this again, knowing what I was doing and not filming it. I could probably do it in a clean 45 without a huge mess of the kitchen, and that's a pretty good goal anyways. Definitely isn't what I would categorize as a modern concept of an easy 30-minute meal, but it is an easy version of a fancy meal. So if you want to do something that feels fancy, like maybe you're having a couple people over for a small dinner party, by modern standards, this would be plenty fancy for anybody. And you know what? It's very doable. There were no special techniques or anything complicated that the average cook couldn't do. If you have zero experience cooking and you want to throw your first dinner party, I think this would be a really good menu for that. Especially finishing with like fresh pears and cheese, or even poached pears might be nice. I'm just using the frozen fruit that I set out to defrost. But, you know, whatever you have laying around was the idea. All right. I think it's almost time for another glass of Prosecco. Eat a little bit of caffeine in me. I am now really tired of talking about this food, and I want to scarf it down and sit here and relax for a little bit and then clean up that unsightly disaster in the kitchen. The consequences of my own actions. I don't want to think about it, but I have to. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you have liked this video, please give it a like. If you would like to see more, please subscribe. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the future.
This is Julia Child. Bon appetit.